Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Ambassador's Lounge. After facing off on the battlefield, Pakistan and India now confront each other at the diplomatic front. It is now the battle of narratives, with each state trying to create a favorable global perception about what happened and in the recent past. In this context, India has dispatched delegations to more than 30 countries. Their objective to malign Pakistan, to create global opinion against Pakistan. They claim they have enough evidence linking Pakistan to Pahalgam killings, yet they insist that investigation is still ongoing. Pakistan's diplomatic outreach is led by Mr. Bilawal Bhutto Zardari. Our delegation includes senior parliamentarians, retired diplomats. Ladies and gentlemen, Pakistan delegations will explain to their interlocutors the events leading to India's unprovoked attack on Pakistan. Its unsubstantiated claim that Pakistan was behind these attacks. The Pakistan delegation will inform the international community that India's decision to hold in abeyance the Indus Water Treaty is a recipe for disaster. Stopping Pakistan's water supply will create a potent cause for conflict and conflagration in the future. And then the issue of illegally occupied Indian Jammu and Kashmir, which needs to be resolved in accordance with the aspirations of the people. Last but not least, Pakistan will stress upon the international community that it is ready to engage with India in bilateral consultations to resolve the issues. Pakistan hopes that its narrative will once again resonate more globally. To discuss these aspects, ladies and gentlemen, I am joined today by my friends, my colleague, Ambassador Asif Durrani and Ambassador Riaz Bukhari. Asif, if you see the narrative of the two countries, both claim victory. Both claim they came on the top. Both claim they have achieved their objectives. What we are seeing is lot of misinformation, disinformation. Will the full picture ever emerge? Will the truths be ever known?
Thank you, Imran. I think rather than going by your question, I would invite you to go through the international media, whether it is New York Times, whether it is Guardian, or any other media which otherwise used to, in fact, praise India as the largest democracy. They praised India that it is a victim of quote-unquote terrorism. But not anymore. This time, Indian narrative could not sell. On the contrary, Pakistan did not indulge in rhetoric. This is the actual, you can say, fact which Pakistan won its narrative was that its briefings, its DGISPR, Air Forces representative and naval representative, when they appeared in front of the media, they were forthcoming, they were transparent. They answered the question, and you just suppose that to the Indian counterparts, the Indian Army representative or their Air Force or Naval, they would just duck the questions. And which is why that the international media actually was of the opinion that, number one, Pakistan on day one shot down India's airplanes. This has been corroborated by independent international media, as well as when those so-called pro-Indian American analysts like Christian Fair, they also subscribe to that India's narrative had failed.
So what basically happened that the way they were presented, we were more systematic in our presentations. India was not. That's what you're saying?
No, I'm trying to say that when you speak the truth, you don't have to remember it. Others remember it. So therefore, and if you speak, if you are telling lies, then you have to tell more lies. And this is what precisely happened with India. The media, they indulged in rhetoric and they became jingoistic. They, in fact, even told to the world that Karachi has been destroyed.
For which they apologized.
And so the question is, during the heat of the moment, they spread it. Then transparency was very important, and Pakistan maintained the transparency. And more importantly, Pakistan's proposal of neutral investigators. No one could challenge that. And it was that offer which actually won the favor for Pakistan at the international level. And India was, in fact, beating about the bush. And India, you ask them, what about the neutral inquiry, and they would duck the question.
They will duck the question. Riaz? Yeah. We talked about the objectives. India says that it has achieved the objectives, right? Did India achieve its objectives? And what were India's objectives, by the way?
I think whatever objective they announced for their Operation Sindoor, they totally failed in that. What they did, they targeted the civilian,
No, but first of all, what were their objectives?
Obviously, they wanted to eliminate so-called terrorist, outfits and their installations and training sites, as they claim. But they totally failed. They attacked the civilian sites in Pakistan. They did not target the military installations in the first few days. Later on, they did. They targeted some air bases, like in Noor Khan Air Base in Islamabad. But as we know, they failed to achieve their target as far as Karachi is concerned, for example. Their media announced that they have targeted Karachi, but in fact it was not. So in that way, I would say that they totally failed to meet their target. And that's why they are still continuing with their operation.
They said that we targeted the terrorist camps, right? Now, and they said we destroyed the terrorist camps. We say that there were no terrorist camps.
We did not say even that. We took the media over there so that they should see and show the rest of the world that whether there were the real terrorist outfits over there. There were none.
They killed children.
Asif, you have to say something about this.
They killed children.
They killed children. Women, yes.
So and then they said that the army brass they participated in the funeral prayers of the quote-unquote terrorists. Nonsensical. They could not prove it. The picture they were showing was actually normal gentleman. His only fault is that he got the beard. So having a beard in Pakistan is not something unusual. So that's why the Indians, they could not sell it.
Okay. Yeah, staying with you. De-escalation at military level is of course taking place. The Director General's military operations, they are in contact with each other. They are streamlining this thing. But there is, what is required is de-escalation at the public level. At both the sides in India and Pakistan, in India in particular, the war rhetoric is quite high. There is a deliberate effort by the government, particularly the Indian media, to whip up ultra-nationalist fervor. And in this context, confusion is being spread, false narrative is being spread. And added to that is Mr. Modi's statement that Operation Sindoor has only been paused. Why is India being so desperate, or is it Mr. Modi being so desperate?
And he, in his latest, the address to a gathering, he sent a message for the youth of Pakistan. Have you seen
yes,
that
and
message?
he said that either eat your food or you'll eat
or I have bullets.
This is not how a diplomat, a statesman behaves.
I mean, he claims to be a statesman, a global statesman.
I don't think that a sane person can use these words.
He is he's a statesman of international caliber. How can he?
That's
how
what
can,
he
how
claims.
can he behave like this? This
has
is
to
this
prove.
is this is a, this is
Imran Yawar,
this is
that's a self-proclaimed title. No one has bestowed that title upon
but
him.
he has been going bear hugging
He
international
he
leaders,
tells the
kissing
world
them.
that I'm wish guru.
Yeah,
You know,
but
I
he's
mean,
not.
I'm world guru. Fine, you have seen it. The language he has used, the language
very
of bullet.
depressing, yes.
Of course, and look at his body chemistry now. Look at his facial reactions, the kind of disgust he has now got, and the kind of hatred. He has become more rabid. And I'm sorry I'm using this harsh word, but he's becoming more
So
rabid.
is he creating an atmosphere for the second round? Yes.
I'm afraid that he is going for the second round. He's preparing the grounds. In fact, for at the global level, as you know, Asif said that a number of parliamentary delegations are already in different capitals. So they are preparing the grounds to launch a second attack. That's why they have not.
But what would be the result?
They have not, stopped the Operation Sindoor. They are still continuing with some other means at the diplomatic as well as at the media side and then the political side as well. So I think that, I would not be surprised if, few days or, a few weeks down the road, we should be expecting a second attack from India.
Asif, this is
I think, Imran, what can be the result if they break the pause? Would that be different from what they did?
Asif, this is something, I mean, if they will suffer, we will also suffer. So this is not something which we can say that if
the
they
question
attack,
is
we
that
will.
they are taking the initiative. They are going for destruction, death and destruction. So they are choosing that path, not Pakistan. So they cannot blame Pakistan. And they just cannot use or can make excuses about quote-unquote terrorism. And it has not been proven.
But Pakistan has to exercise extreme caution and restraint.
Well, that you have to, you can't lower your guards. You can't become complacent. And you are not complacent. Ever since, this unfortunate incident took place on 22nd April, and the kind of rhetoric you were watching on the Indian media and coming from the BJP leaders and RSS leaders, so those were enough indications for Pakistan to be on alert, and we were on alert. That's why they responded in the same coin.
Gentlemen, what worries me is this anti-Pakistan rhetoric which is being spread by the leaders and amplified by the media. This is creating the seeds of permanent hostility between the people of India and Pakistan.
The world should realize that. The world should see what Prime Minister Modi is saying in the public meetings. If you compare that with our Prime Minister's two speeches in Azerbaijan, it's a message of peace, calling upon the international community look into the BJP's policies and the Prime Minister Modi's statements in different gatherings. He is spreading hatred in the region. So we have to be alert about
and
what
Pakistan can't be blamed for that.
Yeah.
Because throughout, if you look at the media, ever since,
Yes.
they have sent their delegation. And Mr. Modi speaking at Rajasthan and then Gujarat, he was spewing venom. But you can't say that our leadership had used those
At any
words.
level, our
At
leadership
any
has
level.
not done that. Asif, Mr. Modi is in a fix now. He created a narrative, his people bought it, and he was able to unite the people. Now the people of India are questioning his narrative.
Yeah.
And if he changes his narrative, that will affect the national cohesion. It will also affect the credibility of the government.
Imran, there are ways to say sorry. They can come talk to Pakistan. There are channels. We can come to his rescue or India's rescue for that matter, because now he represents India, and more importantly, In Pakistan, the reaction is homegrown. In India, it has been injected through RSS, BJP, and Modi's rhetoric. Not by our leadership here. It is homegrown. And which is why you will be surprised that at the social media, our youth actually gave them hell. I happened to watch that very closely. And this was, unprecedented. I can't say I was pleasantly surprised because it's something which was adding to tensions. But our youth, they were so alive and they were so charged.
You're referring to the memes.
Memes.
But Asif, that is no way to
Fine.
handle a crisis in which can have Armageddon-like consequences for the two countries.
Imran, it
So
was not
saying that
about
our
creation.
youth behaved like that,
So
I thought that our youth was behaving in a very immature-ish manner.
No, the question is, on the other side, they were not throwing
But
rose petals.
you cannot justify their action also.
This is not the way. This is the
Absolutely,
question.
you're right.
No, this is not. You came for tit for tat. Indians attacked, so our Air Force responded to them. Here you can't say that, otherwise we could have sat idle and Mr. Modi would have been happy. He would not have, talked about anything else, that I have, destroyed the quote-unquote terrorist camps, which were wrong. Had they destroyed it, the whole international media had
would have known
access.
that. Absolutely
No,
correct.
they had access. They were not blocked. None of the international media were blocked going anywhere in Pakistan. But this was not the case in India.
Riaz, if Pakistan's narrative, we claim that our narrative was bought by the international community and that Indian the narrative was rejected and India was isolated. Well, if that was the case, why did the international community, particularly the B5, with exception of China of course, did not impress upon India that look here, Pakistan has offered an investigation, impartial, transparent investigation by international investigators, go for that. India was not pressed by these people, by the Europeans.
If you look the rest of the, minus China, the other P4, look at the relations they have with India, and particularly with Prime Minister
Modi.
For the last 10 years, if you can say that. They have quite the substantive relationship with India.
But even
So
then,
they have
Imran,
Hey, just a second, please.
They have to take care of their relationship. If you look into, the Indian Foreign Secretary was in Washington the other day, held talks with his counterparts in Washington. If you look into the joint statement issued, they have not called upon any negative expression on Pakistan. What they have said that India should play a role for the regional peace, blaming indirectly that India created problem in the region. That's why Trump has to intervene.
You mean to say what they said that yes, India should play a role in regional peace, and you believe that it is criticism of India's narrative?
Yeah, because if you look into their earlier statements, maybe 5 to 7 paragraphs would be about Pakistan. This time there is none.
actually, Imran,
That should be noted.
this time the joint statement was not dictated by the MEA, Indian MEA. Earlier statements, say a year ago, it looked as if it has been dictated by the MEA, the language. That was not American language. But since American wanted to lure them, so that was...
See, Asif, what we saw is, what I feel was that neither was India criticized severely as it should have been done because of its stance, nor was the world ready to force India to go with what Pakistan had suggested, that is international transparent investigation.
Imran, India is not happy.
Of course it is not happy.
This present state of affairs. They thought that at least P4 would come forward and side with India.
That did not happen.
That did not happen. And elsewhere in the world. So much so that when they calculated, only Israel was the one which came openly in support of India.
Asif, even Israel said that it condemned this action and this killing, and it supported India's decision to punish the perpetrators. Even Israel did not say that Pakistan or what, it did not support India's decision to attack Pakistan.
Imran, but that India took as Israel supported it. Fine. But elsewhere, there were no voices supporting what India wanted to be supported.
But Asif, it could have been much worse for India if the world had said told Mr. Modi
Well,
that look
that is
here,
ideal.
go for this investigation.
Imran,
Everything would be crystal clear.
Everything would not be done according to the satisfaction of India or Pakistan.
And even now, as their delegations are touring the world, enjoying the hospitality, enjoying five-star luxury in US and Ghana, they are, and in Qatar of course also, they are being questioned on this very aspect that look here, Pakistan had asked for investigation. Why did you not accept Pakistan's decision? Because you see, if as India claims that Pakistan was responsible for that, and then if an independent investigation had been conducted, then everything would have been crystal clear. Pakistan would have been isolated.
Doesn't it show that we are vindicated?
For me, yes.
I mean, Indians are going there. They want to explain their point of view, and they are counter-questioned that why didn't we accept Pakistan's neutral investigation?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we should, look into from Indian perspective. India has always been against any third party's intervention with regard to bilateral, issues between India and Pakistan. So this time when we offered, the international neutral, investigation, India rejected that outrightly because of their earlier position, concerning third party intervention in our bilateral relationship.
Yes, sir.
I think, Riaz, this cannot be equated with the third party mediation, the neutral investigations. Here we are talking about accusation, counter accusation, and you have to prove it. And we cannot give the role of judge, jury and executioner to India.
Yeah, you're right.
And no one in the world is going to allow that or support that.
Yeah.
Which is why India lost its narrative.
Now, Asif, do you think India has lost its credibility in all this affair?
I won't go to that extent, but definitely Mr. Modi.
Mr. Modi has lost his credibility.
Hate agenda.
Not only internationally, but also domestically.
His hate agenda is exposed now.
But Asif, what about Pakistan? You see the statements by our defense minister, and then you also see the statement by Mr. Bilawal Bhutto, in which he said Pakistan has a past as far as extremist groups are concerned. Now, we have also faced allegations of connection with terrorist groups and connection to acts of terrorism.
My counter question is, if that had been the case, we lost around 80,000 Pakistanis, including 9,000 law enforcement agency people. So, you think that we did it deliberately, we did it happily? Our people were killed. We were at the receiving end. So, what kind of, this accusation is against Pakistan? Otherwise, we were quite a normal country. We were awarded so-called non-NATO ally, but the very next day, these Americans and NATO countries, they issued travel advisories, causing problems for Pakistan's businesses. The cost of business became high. Cost of insurance became high.
Okay, you've got a point there, mate. But your defense minister has stated that yes, we were doing this dirty work. Just a second, sir.
Yes.
The gentleman who is heading your delegation to the international community. He said that we have a past, and you are sitting here and saying that no, we were not there.
I'm not apologetic about it.
No, you don't. You have to make. You have to be apologetic about it.
No.
If you weren't
If you
doing
allow
such
me,
a thing,
if I can explain.
please.
These madrasas were not created by Pakistan. It was created by the American money, dollar for dollar, and Saudi money.
Okay.
That was the height of Mujahideen's onslaught against the Soviet invasion of Afghanistan. Those Mujahideen, Soviet left, but the Mujahideen were there, and they indulged in civil war. That caused groupings among the Mujahideen groups. For Pakistan, it became a big challenge to control them. And in the process, there was an erosion of rule of law in Pakistan. So here the successive governments, after the withdrawal of the Soviet troops, can be blamed. But the question was that by then damage had been done.
Now, do we still have terrorist camps, training camps
question is-
inside Pakistan?
No.
This is the question. The question is, do you still have them?
Let me answer that. We don't have, because there is no state policy.
No, it may not. Ostensibly, it is not a state policy.
That's why I say it is not state policy. Had this been so, there could have been very safe havens for them.
India claims there are
No,
safe havens
it
there.
is India claims. But they could not even pinpoint a single camp.
They have pinpoint Murid K for once.
Murid K is there, but they are there, they have been neutered.
Asif,
They
Riaz.
have been neutralized. You know, if you...
I said neutered,
We
no.
can... Okay.
No, spade, you mean.
No. What we have done during the last 10 years, since 2014, we have our National Action Plan 1 and 2, specially devised after the Peshawar tragedy. We have sacrificed a lot to eliminate such terrorist outfits from Pakistan. What we have done earlier during the Afghan jihad time, Asif has mentioned it in
Do you
detail.
think this statement of yours and Asif, the world buys it?
It's not the question of world buys it. That same world which supported them, and then they left and they called Taliban terrorists, and then they shook hands with them and handed over power to
Asif,
them.
that's a reactionary statement.
No,
that you're
not
doing.
reaction.
No, no.
It's a
fact. I know that.
It's a
I know
fact
that.
on the
but
ground.
that does not justify the presence
No,
of extremist
it does.
camps inside Pakistan.
Now the question is, those...
If they are there.
No, Imran, those Johnnies are there. They are very much alive. What is the TTP phenomenon? Those TTP guys were fighting with alongside the Taliban against the Americans. Don't forget that. So let's not be clever by half.
Yes,
Imran,
Riaz?
just note down one thing.
Yes, please.
Such elements are no more under state's protection.
You've been saying, you said they are no more under
Since
state.
2014, I am saying.
Okay, they were once under state protection.
Yeah, our defense minister has said that. Our former foreign minister has said that. So I am not denying their statements. They have said what they have said.
Okay, let's continue. Asif, by suspending Indus Water Treaty, India is weaponizing water. Now, reports indicate that water level in Chenab particularly has been significantly reduced due to India's actions in managing the river flow at Baglihar and Salal dams. They say that 61% of water drop is being seen there. What are our options? If India continues this thing, if this thing happens, what, Asif, are our options?
I think, Imran, it has been said very clearly by our National Security Committee that this should be taken as an act of war. So I don't have to add or subtract anything from that. And I'm not a technical expert as far as water flow or shortage in the water flow is concerned. I don't know. There could be many reasons. But India should not forget that if we are a low riparian state, India is also a low riparian state as far as China is concerned. So here I'm just indicating you I'm not.
This is very interesting that Pakistani commentators, and now I'm listening in from Asif, they are saying that we are lower riparian state, yes. And then they say India is also lower riparian state as far as Brahmaputra is concerned. Do you think China is going to get actively involved in this thing?
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah, please do it.
What has China said about Pakistan, India?
Absolutely correct.
What did they say?
Absolutely correct.
They
Pakistan's sovereignty
stand by
is
Pakistan's sovereignty.
But to what extent, Asif, they have a trade of $135 billion.
Despite that,
do you think they are going to sacrifice that 135 billion trade for Pakistan?
Don't you think they don't know the level of their trade, volume of their trade? They should have kept quiet. They did not. So they have come out very clearly, very openly, and we should be proud of our friendship with China.
I said that's another thing. We should be
It's
proud
not
of.
another
No,
thing.
just listen, mate. Listen.
Imran,
We should be proud of our friendship with China. My question is, will China be ready to sacrifice everything? I mean, China has not made any statement about Brahmaputra flow is concerned, about the dam
They
which
don't
they have
have
made.
to say
Just
it.
a second, which they have made. Pakistan, on the other hand, Pakistanis, on the other hand, they are making this claim on behalf of China. Riaz?
I think we should not discuss about China and India being a lower riparian state. We should restrict our discussion to Indus Water Treaty. Number one. Number two, how India can shift the flow of our western rivers to the Indian territory. It will take huge investments as well as.
But then, Riaz, 61% drop of water is observed in the Chenab.
I mean, it is seasonal. We have to see when the rain season starts how it will affect the flow of water.
I think that question you should ask the technical man.
Asif,
We
do
are
you
not
think-
qualified.
So far,
We are not qualified
two
for that.
countries are bound to respect the provisions of the Indus Water Treaty and international conventions governing the flow of waters into different countries.
Correct. Asif, do you think diplomatic options, which, and I think our teams would be prizing the international community on international Indus Water Treaty and India's decision to hold it in abeyance, do you think diplomacy can work on this thing?
Diplomacy can always work if given the chance. The question is, it takes two to tango. Are the Indians ready for that? If they don't, then I'm afraid there won't be peace.
There won't be peace. Yeah, you are absolutely correct. Now, staying with you, Mr. Modi has said that hostilities can resume anytime. He says that Operation Sindoor has just been temporarily paused. As if Pakistan and India are both nuclear capable countries, yet and countries which have lot of dislike for each other. Now, despite all this thing, there is no presence of crisis management mechanism and predefined crisis response protocols. This increases the risks of escalation.
You're right. But at the same time, I think even under nuclear overhang, conventional capabilities cannot be undermined on both sides. India tried to take advantage of its numerical superiority in terms of armament and all that, but Pakistan responded very well, and I think that should serve as an enough lesson for the Indians to learn that they cannot take Pakistan for granted.
Yes, you have anything to add?
I agree,
But you need to have crisis management mechanisms so that to
I fully
prevent the
agree.
things from escalating.
Fully agree, but it takes two to tango.
Let's see, the people of South Asia should not be, left at the mercy of BJP or RSS.
Even our Asif,
Or its policies.
Even our hotlines, they were activated because of the situation.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they were also lying dormant as
For some time.
Well, I think the question is, it is a political decision. When you want to activate the hotline, it activates.
But it was a reaction to the situation. These are the things which should be there as a matter of principle.
You are right. You are very much right. And it used to work in the past.
Yeah.
It is not something that we will be introducing something new. The mechanisms are there, systems are there, everyone knows. You know, even at the line of control, flag meetings take place regularly. It's not something new. The question is, what does Mr. Modi want? Would he mellow down his hatred agenda?
Yeah, he has to.
Well, as things are going, I don't think he's...
But the long-term interest of peace.
One question which I have for both of you, and I want your honest opinion on that, candid opinion. Jafar Express, we said that India is responsible. Now, APS school bus attack in Khusdar, we said that India is responsible. Now, when India says Pakistan is responsible in Pahalgam or Pulwama or Balak, what do? They attack you. And what is Pakistan doing? We just say that we are giving the dossier to the UN Secretary General. Don't you think we need to react in the same manner as India does? Because that is the only way the world will realize what India is doing in Pakistan.
Now you are sounding hawk.
I am.
Otherwise you were playing a dove's role.
Okay. I want your opinion on this thing.
We are responsible state.
No, the question is...
Number one. Number two, we should act like Canada and USA, the way they have communicated with India with regard to their nefarious activities in Canada and the USA.
Asif?
I fully agree. I fully agree with Reyes. And my piece of advice would be that let give the diplomacy a chance.
A chance to work. Yes. Gentlemen, thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, by blaming Pakistan for Pahalgam, Mr. Modi was hoping to gain international support and domestic cohesion. Now, while it failed to get international sympathy for and support for its attack on Pakistan, an unprovoked attack, the domestic cohesion which we initially saw then started falling apart, particularly because of the false narrative, and the people started realizing that it was the false narrative being given by the government. Indian public opinion has begun questioning Mr. Modi's narrative about the ceasefire, about the losses incurred, and the more enlightened of the lot, they are calling for national accountability, and they claim that it was a drama staged for political expediency. Vijay Prashad, a historian, says that the whole episode which India carried out, the attack on Pakistan, it had nothing to do with Pahalgam. No justice for victims of Pahalgam. The perpetrators were not found. Why did it happen? Where was the security? The government and media are quiet on this. They are more interested on Pakistan, what losses the government inflicted Pakistan. And ladies and gentlemen, no international agency has demonstrated link between the Pahalgam and the attackers, Pakistan's link between with the attackers. Yet India remains busy in this cycle of speculative blame. And this is what Mr. Shashi Tharoor and his band of merry men hope to achieve in the world. Mr. Modi says India has carved out a new benchmark in fight against terrorism, setting up a new normal. This will have ramifications, ladies and gentlemen, for the region, because unless and until the core issues are resolved, terrorism will continue to remain a point of contention. Now, what Mr. Modi's statements have done is it has given carte blanche, and it has encouraged and emboldened the non-state actors and terrorist groups. They know that they can now take the region to nuclear Armageddon. Thank you for watching Ambassadors Lounge, and we will be back.